Hello everybody and welcome back to another AOR Season 16 highlights video here for round number 10, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, and this was the most practice I've done for a race all season. I literally spent quite a bit of time practicing for this one and I was obviously determined to do well, it being my home race as well. And coming into this race in P2 in the championship with Michael absent as well, so we actually have a chance of leading the championship after this round if we can take the win here. And throughout practice my pace seemed to be pretty decent, but it was lacking that little bit more to fight for a win, but still I felt it was good enough to fight for a podium, and at the end of the day that's all we really need at this stage in the championship, is to just keep getting the good points and getting like podiums. That was definitely the target. But yeah, as I said, I did a lot of practice for this one. This was the most I'd done all season, and yeah, it hadn't really paid off because my pace wasn't as good as I thought it would be, and I was actually hoping for this to be wet around here because my pace in the wet around Silverstone's always been very good, and I was feeling incredibly quick in the wet around here. But unfortunately it's going to be a dry qualifying and a dry race as well, which is still not bad because my pace was fairly decent, but it was better in the wet. And I think in the dry right now, I think with the setup I have, it's lacking that little bit extra I need if I want to try and fight for a win around here. And you can see currently in qualifying I'm in P7, which obviously isn't fantastic, and we want to try and improve, as Epic Gamer puts a 25.3 up on the board. I think my PB in practice was a 25.6, so I couldn't get anywhere near a 25.3, and right now we're actually down my previous best time. So heading towards the final chicane, we've got to take this as aggressively as possible and try and gain as much time around here as possible, and we actually did manage to do that. So around the final quarter we go, and we improved to a 25.7, but it's only good enough for P7 on the grid here at Silverstone. 4/10 pretty much off pole, and we're behind my teammate Dom as well, and we're behind quite a few of our championship rivals, which obviously isn't where we want to be on the grid. So we've got to try and move forward from here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. So 5 red lights here, and it's lights out and away we go here for the British Grand Prix, and we get a pretty poor launch off the line there. It's not actually great. All season so far I've kind of struggled with my launches there off the line. That's actually allowed Curly up the inside into turn number 1, but we look to the outside here of my teammate into turn number 3 here, and we actually managed to get past him just about, still going side by side into the loop here, actually going down the inside of Williams Alex as well, going side by side with him here on the exit. But it's been a good start. We've got ahead of our teammate, which ideally is what I wanted to do because I wanted to pit on lap 9, and I felt like that was the best time. So if we're in front of Dom, then we can have priority of when we want to pit. So we've managed to do that, and already Williams Alex has gone a little bit wide here, and we're going to go down the inside, so going side by side with him towards Woodcut, and we're not able to quite make the move done, but we're in a good position here. If we can stick with the leading group around here, then we can just focus on saving our ERS, saving a bit of fuel, and trying to use it later on in the race when we really need to. But once again I was good on tyre wear and tyre temperatures compared to other people, so still I was feeling confident. I wasn't really too confident in what my pace was like, but especially with tyre wear and tyre temperatures I was in a good situation. Already we're starting to build a bit of a gap behind Curly, and yeah, as long as we can stay with this leading group we'll be in the right position we want to be in if we want to fight for a podium here around Silverstone, which was my target. And if we can do that, then we should be able to remain in P2 in the championship, and with Michael being absent as well, then we'll be in definitely a very good position heading into the Christmas break here. But it's Lucas leading across the line here on lap 1. AOR Flying Finn is in P2 as well, and us being in P6 behind Williams Alex, that's where we want to be as long as we can stay in touch with this leading group. And you can see now, moving on to lap 4, the top 4 have kind of broken away a little bit from myself and Alex, but as long as we can stay in the DRS zone of Alex in front, then yeah, we should be still able to just about stay in touch with the leaders. And Curly's only half a second behind us as well, so him and Dom, they're still in the fight. And I think the 2 Red Bulls as well, they qualified outside the top 10 and they started on the medium tyres, so we've got to watch out for them later on in the race as well. But at this stage I was still pleasantly surprised at how quick my pace was, because in the dry I actually thought my pace was worse than it actually is, because the setup I was running, it was very stable and I could push as hard as I wanted to with it, but it did lack that bit of raw speed, and it was a little bit too understeery for these kind of conditions. And considering the amount of time I had to practice for this one, I would have thought I would have been able to nail the setup a little bit better than we have done. But saying that, the stability of it does have its positives, as you can see now. Other people are starting to struggle with their tyre wear a little bit, and myself and Alex, we've closed back up to the leading 4, and now we are right in the fight, and I wouldn't even count ourselves out of the fight for the win at this stage. And Dom, my teammate, has actually got past Curly as well. He's now up into P7, but I think he was outside the DRS zone of me, so yeah, we're in the leading group, we're in the DRS zone, and I think, like Dom, if you're just outside that 1 second range, then it's difficult to get back into it. And the situation we're in right now, to be in this leading group, being in DRS and being able to stick with them with the slipstream and everything, we're also able to save our ERS and fuel, so we're in a good situation. And the top 2 are actually starting to battle in front, and we are now right in the fight, and we've only got 1 warning at this stage, which you would have seen just then on this lap at Maggots and Beckett's. That was our first warning of the race, so we've got to be a little bit careful of that. But around Cops and Maggots and Beckett's, that's the easiest places to get any warnings, but as long as we can not get any penalties, then we should still be, yeah, if we don't get any penalties in this race, we should be able to make it onto the podium, because I know how easy it is to get penalties around here. So if we don't get any penalties, then yeah, that would be great for us. But on to lap 8 now. You can see how good my situation is right now with ERS and fuel, and yeah, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. And as long as we're, yeah, as I said many times in previous videos, if you're in a group in their DRS zone, then it's so hard to pull away, especially for the front guys. It's so hard to pull away, and we're just able to stick pretty easily right now on the back of this group. Our pace is good. I was feeling good at this stage, and I was hopeful of a good result, and yeah, I was easily able to stick with these guys. But you can see Lucas has come into the pits now here on lap 8, which I thought was pretty early, especially considering the fact if you pit that early on medium tyres, it can get pretty tight towards the end of the race. And also the overcut around here works pretty well, but Lucas has come into the pits anyway, so he's going for the undercut, which is pretty surprising considering how tough the medium tyres are at the start of stints, with them being so cold. It's very easy to lose a lot of time because they are incredibly understeery at the start of the stints. But you can see we're actually right up to the back here of Williams Alex, so with DRS and everything we might be able to challenge him towards Brooklands, but he also has DRS as well, so it's pretty difficult to catch Alex here on the straight. And we looked to the inside there, but obviously that was a pretty unrealistic move, so we just kind of looked to the inside to sort of put him off. But still, we are right in the fight. AOR Flying Fins kind of pulling away from Yano and Floris, but you can see right now out of Luffield how good our situation currently is with our ERS. It was pretty much on 98% round Luffield, so that shows how easily we're able to stick on the back of this group. So we're in a fantastic position right now, and our pace is currently fantastic. And right now our pace seems to be a little bit better than Alex's in front. So yeah, we're going to pit at the end of this lap, and yeah, we're in a fantastic position to fight for a good result and a podium around here if possible. Dom is still 1.2 seconds behind us, so yeah, we've got the measure over him for the time being, and we're going to come into the pits this time round. So heading towards the pit lane, ERS in none, fuel mix down to lean, and as we cross the pit lane line here and where the game takes control, my wheel, for some reason the game rotated it 180 degrees round. You may have seen this on my Twitter here, but right now I'm going through the menus and everything, very unsure of what to do, but my wheel's currently stuck pretty much upside down, and you can see it here in the pits how my wheel, how the wheels are turning right there in the pits, and still my wheel's upside down. And I was thinking, should I unplug the wheel or not? I didn't really think I had time to do so, but the game had rotated it round, and I already lost time in the pit box. Curly's in front of us, and still at this stage it was upside down, and you can see as I regain control of the car, the game has just put me into an invisible wall, and half my front wing is gone, and my race is over pretty much from there, unless there's a safety car. So I was going to continue just to see if there was a safety car and maybe I can get something out of this race. But honestly, it's so frustrating when you put that amount of time into a race and then things like that happen where it's out of your control, it's not your fault, and you can see the leaders going through, setting fastest laps, and I could have been right in that fight for at least a podium. And yeah, I'll come into the pits again to change my front wing. That time my wheel didn't rotate round, so honestly it was one of the weirdest glitches I've ever had in my life. I've never seen it before, I've never seen anyone else have it before either, so completely confused as to why it happened. And in the championship fight this close, things like that, they could cost you a championship. So yeah, for the remainder of the race I kept driving round, but I really was just so annoyed at what happened, because I felt like my pace was good enough to, yeah, as I said, fight for at least the podium. And now on to lap 26 out of 26. We're in P11. AOR Flying Finn got taken out on the last lap, I think, through desync with my teammate. My teammate Dom finished in P2, and yeah, that's quite frustrating considering we were in front of him before the pit stops. So yeah, the penalties and everything, we probably would have been on the podium. You can see I smashed into the wall there at the end of the race because I was really annoyed with what had happened, but it's out of my control. All I can do is look forward to the next few races. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you for round 11, which is Germany, in a few weeks' time. So goodbye.